The Tribunal of Worlds was a hall of steel and crystal, built to intimidate. Alien banners hung from the high ceiling, and the walls glowed with shifting lights that displayed the flags of empires across the galaxy. At the center stood a single figure. Commander Alara Voss. Her wrists were bound by heavy chains, her uniform torn and blood-stained. 2 insectoid guards flanked her, their tall spears crackling with energy. She looked small compared to the towering aliens around her, yet her back was straight, her eyes calm. The council speaker rose from his seat, his long body wrapped in golden robes. His voice carried across the chamber. "Commander Alara Voss of Earth," he declared. "You are the last representative of your people. Your fleets are broken, your colonies erased, your world nothing but ash. Humanity is finished." The chamber erupted in cruel laughter. The reptilian general slammed his claws on the railing, his scales glinting under the lights. "You are weak prey," he roared. "We destroyed your warships like insects under boot. Why do you still resist?" The avian delegate spread her wings wide, her feathers shimmering. "Speak, little human. Admit your defeat. Say the words, humanity is extinct." Alara did not speak. Her gaze drifted slowly across the chamber. She looked at each alien in turn, as if weighing them, judging them, measuring their fear. Her silence was sharper than any blade. The insectoid delegate hissed in frustration. "Why do you not speak? Your silence means nothing here." Alara tilted her head. Her lips curved slightly, not in fear, but in something closer to amusement. Finally, her voice rang out, calm and steady. "You think chains hold me. But it is your galaxy that is trapped." The chamber grew restless. Some delegates sneered, but others shifted uncomfortably. Her words did not sound broken. They sounded certain. The reptilian general bared his teeth. "Lies. We crushed your armies. We wiped your records from history. Earth is dust." Alara's gaze did not waver. "And yet, here I stand." The words echoed across the chamber. The speaker's voice grew sharper. "You are a prisoner. Do not mistake defiance for strength. This trial is broadcast across the stars. Billions watch you. They will see your humiliation. They will know humanity has no future." Alara closed her eyes for a brief moment, as if listening to something far away. When she opened them, her stare burned with quiet fire. "Billions watch, yes. And what do they see? Not a broken species. Not an extinct people. They see one human, unbroken, unbent. If I stand, then Earth stands." Her voice grew louder, filled with steel. "You call this humiliation. But every word I speak, every breath I take, carries further than your threats. I do not kneel. I will not kneel. And humanity does not bow." The insectoid guards stepped forward, spears humming, but the speaker raised his hand. He wanted the galaxy to hear. Across 1,000 worlds, the broadcast spread. Soldiers in barracks leaned closer to their screens. Workers in mines froze. Children in alien schools tilted their heads at the strange human woman who did not fear. Whispers began. "Why is she not afraid? Why does she speak as if they are not defeated?" In the chamber, the avian delegate tried to laugh, but her voice cracked. "Empty words. Nothing more than a doomed prisoner clinging to pride." Alara's calm voice cut through. "Pride? No. Memory. You erased us from your records, but you cannot erase what we built. You say our fleets are gone, but fleets can be rebuilt. You say our world is ash, but from ash, fire rises." Her chains rattled as she lifted her bound hands slightly. "You look at these chains and see victory. I look at them and see fear, your fear that even one human left alive is too dangerous." The chamber erupted in shouting. Some delegates demanded her execution. Others argued that her death would make her a martyr. The young alien officer, seated at the lower balconies, leaned forward. His voice was quiet, but it carried. "She is not afraid. She speaks like someone who knows something we do not. His words spread unease through the hall. Elara stood silent again, letting the voices roar around her. She waited until the noise peaked, then spoke once more, her voice calm, final. You think this trial will break me? You think these chains silence me? But you have already failed. My words are not for you. My words are for the galaxy. And the galaxy is listening. She leaned forward, her eyes burning. Remember this, humanity cannot be erased. Humanity prepares. The chamber fell silent. And far away, in the cold dark between stars, something stirred. The council wanted a show. They had chained Commander Elara Vos in the tribunal, and now they wanted the galaxy to see her broken. Every interrogation was broadcast to 1,000 worlds, every question designed to humiliate, every strike of the guards meant to show human weakness. But every time she stood, every time she spoke, something else spread instead. The first interrogation began with threats. The reptilian general leaned close, his scales glistening under the lights. His voice was a deep growl. Your fleets are gone. Your colonies burned. Admit it. Admit your species is finished. Elara's lips barely moved. If we were finished, you would not need me chained. The chamber murmured. Even the guards shifted uneasily. The general slammed his claws against the railing. Say it. Say the words. Elara met his eyes. Calm. Cold. Unbroken. No. The second interrogation brought pain. The insectoid delegate waved his claw. The guards activated the shock chains. Sparks crawled over Elara's arms. Her body trembled, her knees buckled, but she did not fall. Billions across the galaxy watched as her teeth clenched and her eyes burned with defiance. When the shocks ended, the insectoid leaned closer. Now, human. Kneel. Elara's voice was hoarse but steady. You mistake pain for power. But it is not my body that resists you. It is my will. And you cannot touch that. The council grew restless. Delegates shouted, demanding harsher measures. The avian leader spread her wings wide, her voice sharp and mocking. You will confess. You will tell the galaxy humanity is weak. Elara's lips curved into the faintest smile. Weakness is believing chains prove victory. Weakness is needing a prisoner to feel safe. Her words echoed across the hall. And across the galaxy, whispers grew louder. In alien barracks, soldiers leaned toward their screens. One whispered, she does not break. Another answered, even under pain, she defies them. In insectoid hives, workers clicked nervously. She speaks like she knows something. Why is she not afraid? On avian spires, children repeated her words in playgrounds. Humanity cannot be erased. The council's plan to humiliate her had backfired. Her strength became legend. The third interrogation tried lies. The council speaker himself stood tall, his golden robe glittering. His voice was smooth, confident. Your people are gone, Commander. Do you not see? We have erased your fleets. We have erased your records. Even if a few humans remain, they are scattered and leaderless. You are the last. Elara tilted her head. Her eyes narrowed, sharp as blades. Then why are you afraid of my words? Why do you need to silence me if humanity is gone? No, your fear betrays you. You fear we are not finished. The speaker's smile faltered. The chamber filled with whispers. The young alien officer rose again from the lower balcony. His voice trembled, but it carried. She is right. If humanity were gone, why would we need the show? Why would we broadcast this trial? She stands unbroken, and the galaxy sees it. The reptilian general roared at him. Silence, boy. But his words sounded weak, desperate. The interrogations dragged on for hours. Chains tightened. Lights burned hot. Questions repeated again and again. Every time, Elara's body weakened, but her eyes never dimmed. When asked for surrender, she answered, "No." When asked if humanity was extinct, she answered, "Not while I breathe." When asked what power remained, she answered, "The kind you cannot see." By the end of the session, the chamber was restless, unsettled. The council wanted triumph, but they had created doubt. On the outer worlds, broadcasts were replayed endlessly. Citizens whispered in fear or in awe. Soldiers questioned their orders. Children repeated her lines. Elara Voss, the human prisoner, was no longer just a captive. She was becoming a symbol. As guards dragged her back to the cold cell, she whispered words only the cameras could catch. "Earth does not bow. Earth prepares." Billions heard it. Billions repeated it. And in the deep dark between stars, hidden signals stirred. The interrogations continued, day after day. The council expected the human prisoner to weaken. They expected her silence to break, her spirit to fall. Instead, every word she spoke grew sharper. Every phrase echoed louder. But now her words carried something more. Hidden meanings. During the next trial, the reptilian general stood tall, his voice thundering across the hall. "Say it, human. Admit it. Humanity is finished. You are alone." Commander Elara Voss raised her head slowly. Her chains rattled as she shifted, but her eyes burned with quiet fire. Her voice was calm. "Alone is never truly alone. Shadows walk where you do not see. Ash hides embers you cannot kill." The chamber erupted with laughter. Delegates jeered. But far away, on a mining moon where human survivors lived in secret, technicians froze. They replayed her words. "Shadows walk, ash hides embers." They understood. It was code. The interrogations grew harsher. The insectoid delegate hissed, his mandibles clicking. "Your people are scattered. They will never rise again. Speak the truth." Elara's lips curved faintly. "Scattered seeds grow forests. Broken stones build walls. You speak of endings. I speak of beginnings." In the dark void of a hidden colony, a human commander leaned toward his console. His heart pounded as he replayed the broadcast. Seeds grow forests. Broken stones build walls. It was not defiance. It was instruction. She was telling them to unite. The council failed to see it. They thought her words nonsense. They thought the human prisoner was speaking riddles to cling to pride. But across the galaxy, hidden human enclaves, broken fleets, and scattered survivors recognized the pattern. Every phrase carried signals, coordinates, times, warnings. Her chains were not her cage. They were her microphone. On the council world, the avian delegate spread her wings, laughing sharply. "The galaxy sees you now. They see your weakness. You cannot fight us with words." Elara lifted her gaze, steady and unbroken. "Words are stronger than chains. Words cross stars faster than fleets. Words outlive empires." Billions across the galaxy repeated her line. Words are stronger than chains. In the lower balconies, the young alien officer watched closely. He leaned to another and whispered, "She is not just speaking. She is sending messages. Look at her eyes, she knows someone is listening." His companion shook his head nervously. "Impossible. The humans are gone." But doubt had already taken root. That night, Elara was dragged back to her cell. The walls were cold steel, the floor bare stone. 2 guards left her in silence. As the door closed, she leaned her head back and smiled faintly. She whispered softly, though no one was near. "They heard me." Far across the galaxy, a battered ship drifted in a dead system. Its crew, human exiles, gathered around a screen replaying the broadcast. The captain clenched his fists. "It's her. Commander Voss. She's alive." The crew's eyes lit with fire. "She's speaking to us. She's telling us to move." For the first time in decades, engines stirred. In another hidden place, deep beneath an asteroid base, children of survivors whispered her words to each other before sleep. Earth does not bow. Earth prepares. The line became a prayer. Back in the council chamber, the interrogations dragged on. The speaker grew frustrated, his golden robe shimmering as he slammed his staff against the floor. Enough riddles. Enough pride. You will confess your extinction. Alara looked at him with cold calm. You mistake silence for death. You mistake shadows for emptiness. Humanity does not vanish. Humanity waits. Her voice echoed across the chamber, across the broadcasts, across the galaxy. And in the dark void, human ships turned their course toward a signal they had been waiting for. The council thought they held a prisoner. But she was not their captive. She was their broadcast tower. And her words were shaking the galaxy. The council thought the broadcasts humiliated humanity. They showed a chained human, torn and bruised, standing against their power. They replayed her interrogations on every channel. They wanted the galaxy to see weakness. Instead, the galaxy saw something else. They saw a prisoner who never bent. They heard words that could not be silenced. And whispers began to spread. On reptilian fortress worlds, soldiers sat in mess halls, watching her image. One slammed his claw on the table. She should be afraid. Why does she stand so calm? Another muttered quietly, because maybe her people are not finished. The room fell silent. Even to speak it was dangerous, but the thought had taken root. In insectoid hives, workers repeated her words as they moved through the tunnels. Scattered seeds grow forests. Broken stones build walls. Words are stronger than chains. At first, they whispered it in secret. Soon, the whispers became a hum, then a chant. Queens ordered silence, but even queens could not stop the rhythm of fear and awe. In avian towers, children played games where one stood as Alara, and the others played the council. No matter how they pretended, the one in chains always spoke the same line. Earth does not bow. Earth prepares. The adults watched in silence, unsettled. The council chamber grew restless. Reports poured in, citizens repeating her words, soldiers hesitating at orders, colonies playing her broadcasts without permission. The reptilian general snarled, slamming his claws. She is poisoning the galaxy. Execute her before her words spread further. The avian delegate flared her wings. If we kill her now, she becomes a martyr. The whispers will only grow. The insectoid delegate hissed. Then silence her. Muzzle her. Stop the broadcasts. But the speaker shook his head slowly. His golden robe shimmered under the chamber lights. No. The galaxy already listens. If we silence her, they will ask why. If we kill her, she will live forever in their memory. The only way to win is to break her. He looked down at Alara, still standing straight in her chains. And she does not break. Far away, in hidden colonies, the broadcasts were replayed again and again. Human survivors leaned close to their screens. She's alive. She's telling us to move. She's guiding us. Engines long dormant began to hum. Docks were cleared. Weapons were tested. In silence, humanity stirred. Even among alien civilians, doubt grew. On a crowded transport station, two traders argued. She is only a prisoner, one snapped. The other shook his head. Then why do her words echo? Why do I hear them in every street? Why do I dream them at night? Back in the chamber, another interrogation began. The reptilian general roared, "Your people are nothing. Admit it before all the stars." Alara's chains rattled as she raised her head. Her voice was calm, steady. You think you erase us by shouting louder. But your voices are wind. Mine is fire. And fire spreads. Billions heard her. Billions repeated her. The young alien officer in the lower balcony whispered to himself, almost in awe. She is no longer a prisoner. She is a beacon. That night, in her cold cell, Alara sat against the wall. The guards thought she was silent. But she spoke softly, knowing the cameras still broadcast every word. My people. My brothers. My sisters. If you hear me, know this, I stand. You must stand too. Earth prepares. Her voice traveled through every screen, every channel, every hidden corner of the galaxy. And across the stars, fleets shifted. Colonies stirred. Hope returned. The Council wanted humiliation. Instead, they had built her a throne. Her words were no longer whispers. They were spreading like fire. The Council chamber had never been so divided. Once, they had spoken with one voice. They had laughed together when they declared humanity extinct. They had mocked Earth's ruins and celebrated their own power. But now, the hall was filled with shouting. Delegates argued, wings spread wide, mandibles clattering, claws scraping. The words of one chained human had shaken their unity. The reptilian general slammed his claws on the table. His voice boomed through the chamber. Enough of this game. Execute her. End the broadcasts. Let her death be the final proof of humanity's extinction. The insectoid delegate hissed in agreement. Yes. Kill her now, before her poison spreads further. But the avian delegate shook her head, feathers shivering. Fools! Do you not see? If we kill her, she becomes legend. If we silence her, the whispers only grow louder. Already soldiers question, civilians whisper, colonies doubt. The chamber erupted again in noise. Ambassador Alara Voss stood in her chains at the center, silent, calm. She did not argue, she did not plead. She let them fight. Her silence was heavier than their shouting. The Speaker of the Council raised his staff, his golden robe shimmering. Order! We must decide this now. His voice trembled despite his effort to control it. We cannot allow one prisoner to fracture the galaxy. Already, reports spread of humans moving in the shadows. Already, colonies stir. If she is allowed to continue, the legend will consume us. He looked down at Alara. She must be broken. The guards dragged her forward. The reptilian general leaned close, his hot breath steaming against the chains. You hear them, human? Even your life hangs on their indecision. You have nothing. Admit it. Humanity is gone. Alara's eyes lifted to meet his. Her voice was quiet, calm. If humanity is gone, why do you fear me? Why do you fear words? The general's claws trembled against the railing. Far across the stars, broadcasts carried her voice again. In insectoid hives, workers whispered, why do they fear her if she is nothing? In avian towers, soldiers muttered, if she is weak, why not kill her? In reptilian barracks, officers grew silent, thinking the same unspoken thought. The cracks spread outward, beyond the chamber, into the galaxy itself. The young alien officer rose once more from the lower balconies. His voice trembled, but it carried. She is not the one on trial. We are. Every word she speaks spreads across the stars, and every silence from us makes us smaller. The chamber froze. Delegates stared at him, some in shock, others in anger. The reptilian general roared. Sit down, boy. But his roar sounded hollow. The speaker's voice grew desperate. Then we will try again. We will push harder. She will confess. He signaled the guards. Energy surged through her chains. Sparks danced across her skin. The chamber expected her to scream. She did not. Her voice, hoarse but steady, rose above the crackle. You cannot break me. You cannot break humanity. You break yourselves with every attempt. In the outer worlds, the broadcasts replayed endlessly. On a mining colony, a worker slammed his fist into the air. She still stands. On a hidden ship, a captain smiled grimly. She's telling us we are not alone. On a quiet spire, a child whispered her words before sleep, Earth prepares. Her chains rattled in the chamber, but her words rattled the galaxy. The council session ended in chaos. Delegates stormed out, their voices sharp, their unity broken. Some demanded her death. Some demanded her silence. Some demanded she be left alive but hidden. For the first time in centuries, the council spoke with many voices, not one. Back in her cold cell, Alara sat quietly. Guards thought she was broken, but she allowed herself a faint smile. They are cracking, she whispered to herself. And cracks always spread. Far in the void, hidden human fleets stirred. Old engines came alive. Weapons long buried were tested in silence. The message had been heard. The prisoner was not waiting to be saved. She was leading the return. The prison of the council was carved into the cliffs of a cold, gray moon. Towers of steel rose into the sky, their walls humming with energy shields. No one had ever escaped. No one had ever dared. Commander Alara Voss was chained in the deepest chamber, guarded by insectoid soldiers and watched by endless cameras. To the council, she was their prize, the last human, displayed as proof of victory. But to the galaxy, she had become something else. A spark. That day, the interrogations began again. The reptilian general stood above her, claws digging into the railing. "Admit it," he roared. "Say the words. Humanity is extinct." Alara raised her head slowly. Her voice was steady. "You demand I say what you need to believe. But your need is your weakness. And your weakness will destroy you." The general slammed his claws, furious. The guards raised their weapons. The chamber shook with anger. But then it shook again. Not from voices. Not from chains. From outside. The lights flickered. Dust fell from the ceiling. The ground trembled. The speaker rose, his robe shimmering. "What is this?" An officer rushed in, his face pale. "Sir. External defenses are under attack. Fleets, unidentified ships." The chamber screens lit up. In orbit above the prison moon, black warships slid from hyperspace. Their engines glowed faint red, their hulls silent and sleek. They moved in perfect formation, weapons armed. The armada had come. Panic erupted in the chamber. Delegates shouted, wings spread wide, mandibles clicking in fear. They were extinct. This is impossible. Where did these ships come from? Alara's chains rattled as she stood tall, calm in the chaos. Her voice cut through the storm. "You thought I was your prisoner. But you were holding the messenger." Outside, the battle began. Human warships fired with precision. Railguns tore through defense platforms. Plasma lances burned through shield towers. Drones swarmed like storms of fire, striking alien fighters before they could form ranks. Alien admirals screamed orders, but their fleets fell apart within minutes. The prison moon shook as explosions lit the sky. Inside, guards scrambled. The reptilian general roared, pointing at Alara. "Kill her before they arrive." But the insectoid soldiers hesitated. Their mandibles clicked nervously. Even they had heard her words. Even they wondered if killing her would bring worse consequences. The hesitation was enough. The chamber doors exploded inward. Human marines stormed in, black armor gleaming, weapons spitting fire. The council guards fell in seconds. At their lead stood Captain Calder, scarred and fierce. His voice thundered. "Commander Voss. We're here to bring you home." Alara's eyes lit with fire. Then Earth rises again. The Marines cut her chains. The weight fell away, but she had never truly looked bound. She stood taller, free at last, her uniform torn but her will unbroken. The council delegates cowered in their seats. The reptilian general trembled with fury, but he dared not move. Alara turned to them, her voice sharp as a blade. "You thought this chamber would be my tomb. Instead, it will be your memory. The day the galaxy learned humanity was never gone. Outside, the human fleet closed the trap. Alien defenses collapsed. Survivors fled in panic, their transmissions carrying terror across the stars. They fight like predators. We cannot stop them. The humans live. The words spread faster than fire. In the chamber, Captain Calder handed Alara a comm commander. The galaxy is watching. Say the word. She stepped forward, her eyes on the trembling delegates, her voice broadcast to billions. You chained me. You tried to silence me. But my words reached further than your fleets. Humanity does not bow. Humanity prepares. And now. She raised her hand toward the skies. Humanity has returned. The broadcast ended in silence, but the silence was heavier than any explosion. The prison moon burned in orbit. The Armada held the skies. And across the galaxy, the legend of the unbroken prisoner became truth. The council chamber had once been the center of galactic power. Here, empires declared wars. Here, fleets were commanded. Here, they had laughed together as they declared humanity extinct. But now, it was broken. The walls shook from distant explosions. Smoke leaked from vents. Delegates shouted in fear, wings flaring, mandibles clattering, claws scraping against the table. The great banners of the empires hung tattered, their colors dim in the flickering light. And at the doors, human marines stood guard, weapons ready. Then she entered. Commander Alara Voss. No longer in chains. No longer bowed. She walked slowly into the chamber, her torn uniform stained with blood, her eyes sharp as steel. Every step echoed across the marble floor. The delegates, who once mocked her, now shrank back into their seats. The speaker rose, his golden robe trembling. This is impossible. You cannot be here. Alara's voice cut through him, calm but merciless. You thought you held me as proof of victory. But I was never your prisoner. I was your mirror. And the galaxy has seen what you are. The reptilian general slammed his claws, though his voice shook. Do not think this changes anything. You are one woman, one remnant of a dead race. Alara stepped closer, her gaze burning into him. Yet you fear me. You fear one voice. What does that say of your strength? The general's mouth opened, but no words came. His claws trembled against the railing. She turned slowly, facing the chamber. Her voice rose, broadcast to every world still listening. You tried to erase us. You called us ash, dust, forgotten. And yet my words spread. Soldiers heard them. Children whispered them. Even now, the galaxy repeats them. Humanity does not bow. Humanity prepares. And now, humanity has returned. Her words thundered through the chamber. Delegates trembled. Across the stars, billions heard and repeated. The avian delegate tried to stand, wings trembling. If you mean to rule, then say it. If you mean to destroy us, then strike. But do not think words alone will win the galaxy. Alara's lips curved faintly. Words already have. She gestured to the trembling council, to the marines at her side, to the armada hanging above the world. You built your empire on fear. Now that fear belongs to us. Outside, the human fleet completed its assault. Alien warships scattered. Defense platforms burned. Survivors fled into the void, their desperate transmissions carrying the same truth across the stars. The humans live. The armada fights with precision. We cannot stop them. Back inside, Captain Reese Calder stepped forward. Commander, the chamber is secure. Say the word, and we'll end this farce. Alara nodded, then turned back to the delegates. Her final words were quiet, but heavier than any cannon. You thought me a prisoner. But you were the prisoners, trapped in arrogance, chained by fear. Today you see the truth. Humanity cannot be erased. Humanity cannot be broken. And humanity has returned. The chamber fell silent. No one laughed. No one mocked. The council, once proud, sat shattered before a woman who stood taller in rags than they had ever stood in crowns. Above the council world, the Armada held its place, a wall of black steel blotting out the stars. Across the galaxy, whispers became certainty. The humans lived. The prisoner was free. The council was broken. And the galaxy would never be the same. The battle was over. Above the council world, the skies were filled with black holes. The human fleet hung in perfect formation, their engines glowing faint red, their weapons aimed but silent. Entire continents watched from below, trembling. The council chamber, once the proud heart of the galaxy, lay in ruins. Smoke curled from cracked walls. Banners of empires hung tattered, their colors faded under the glow of fire. And at the center stood Commander Alara Voss. No longer in chains. No longer mocked. She stood free, and the galaxy watched. The Speaker of the Council tried to rise. His golden robe was torn, his voice weak. "You cannot win like this," he whispered. "You are one race, scattered and broken. The galaxy will crush you again." Alara's eyes burned like fire. "You called us scattered. But scattered seeds grow forests. You called us broken. But broken stones build walls. You tried to erase us from history. But history cannot be erased." Her voice grew stronger, echoing through the chamber, carried by every broadcast across the stars. Humanity cannot be broken. Humanity cannot be erased. Humanity prepares. In reptilian fortresses, soldiers froze as her words reached them. They remembered the broadcasts from her chains. Now she spoke free, and her voice was stronger than fleets. In insectoid hives, workers stopped, mandibles clicking as they repeated her words in rhythm. What had been whispers became chants. In avian towers, children shouted her phrases in plazas, their voices echoing through the spires. Adults watched with unease, knowing the galaxy had changed. The reptilian general slammed his claws one last time. "You are dangerous, human. You spread poison with words." Alara turned toward him, her gaze sharp as a blade. "No. Not poison. Truth. You built your empire on lies, on fear, on arrogance. Now, you will live with the truth, humanity lives." The general sank back into his seat. His claws trembled. He had no answer. Captain Reese Calder stepped forward. "Commander, the fleet is ready. At your order, we can end this world." The council delegates gasped, wings flaring, mandibles clicking in panic. But Alara raised her hand. Her voice was calm, merciless. "No. Death is simple. Fear endures. A dead world is forgotten. But a living world remembers." She turned her gaze to the delegates. "You will remember. Every day you wake, you will look to the skies and wonder if today is the day humanity returns. That is your punishment. That is your fear." Above the world, the Armada shifted. Cannons glowed crimson, lighting oceans and cities below. Billions screamed, armies braced for annihilation. And then, the glow faded. The weapons held steady. The Armada did not fire. The message was clear. We could. We choose not to. For now. The speaker fell back into his chair, broken. "What do you want from us?" he whispered. Alara's answer was cold. "Nothing. We want you to live in the shadow you built for us. You wanted us erased. Instead, you will see us in every silence, in every shadow, in every star. We are not gone. We never were." Her final words were sharp as steel. "This is not your galaxy anymore. This is the galaxy that remembers." Across the stars, the message spread. On mining moons, hidden human fleets prepared. Engines roared back to life. On dead colonies, survivors raised banners once buried. On alien worlds, whispers grew into fear. The humans live. The Armada waits. The prisoner is free. No one laughed now. No one mocked Earth. Every empire, every soldier, every child looked to the stars and trembled. As Alara turned to leave the chamber, her voice was carried one last time across every channel, every world, every fleet. Humanity does not bow. Humanity prepares. And humanity has returned. Above, the armada began to move. One by one, the warships vanished into hyperspace, their red engines fading into the dark. The sky cleared, stars returned. But the fear remained. The silence remained. And the galaxy remembered.